There are actually some substantial comments as well.
I have a few.
I don't know.
I tend to be verbose.
I tend to be, well, I try.
I'm. I told you this.
Whatever.
That's familiar. That's familiar.
All right.
You good?
Yes.
Okay, this is Jennifer Nisanoff. Sorry about the late start. We had technical difficulties. It is 11:10 and this meeting is called to order. Let's all rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Let's do a roll call. We can just go around the table and then we lost some of our perimeter people, but we, okay. And then we'll go around the perimeter. This is Jennifer Nisanoff, Safety and Security Subcommittee.
Casey Haas, also at the committee.
Bob Geppert, President of Breno. Marty Mann, Captain Member.
Rick Carter,
Dave Gann, of this committee. That's all right. Ed Crawford, Global Member.
Chelsea Riley, District Manager.
Nathan Nally, Gateway Project Manager.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Do we have any public comment? Okay. We don't have any minutes to approve today, so we're going to start off with the financial report, which everyone should have in their packages. I have one or two comments, but if anybody else has comments or questions. Okay. This is something I'm probably going to send to Laura, but I don't know if it's an issue or not. I see most of the, I think I see all of them, all of the invoices for gate arm repairs. And I'm astounded by how many times that thing has to get repaired. It's just phenomenal. And I know that she doesn't have any good history because I talked to her about getting a history of all the invoices before. But actually, maybe I should talk to Mark about this. But is this historically, is it a trend that this is just how many times it gets broken or doesn't work? Or are we on an upswing? Is it something we need to pay attention to?
It's been temperamental for the last 12, 13.
Okay, that answers my question. We have budget for it. It's not a budget issue per se. It's more of a, oh my goodness gracious.
A lot of times.
look at it all.
Pardon me?
Look at it all. Heavier duty or something.
Well, that's why I was asking. I didn't know if it was something that we should think about or not.
So is there
But-
an incident report submitted? But somebody hits it,
Well,
but not when it just goes on. first.
yeah,
And
I
the
see the
reason
detail.
we got what, excuse me, the
Yeah.
reason they got what they got is a little bit, that is, no, lightweight enough to go up and down quickly.
Mhm.
When we had heavier pieces, it would creak up and then everybody would back up. So it's part of it is self-inflicted. We wanted it to be very heavy.
Okay.
So Chelsea O'Reilly, as part of redoing the access vendor contract, we actually had the opportunity to go in the guardhouse and as a whole, there is a lot of work that needs to be done in there. There's the sliding door, there's that wall, there's some stucco repairs on the outside. There's a lot of repairs that need to be done in the actual house itself. Staff is soliciting proposals. I think we got one so far, getting a contractor to provide pricing. Staff's also solicited, if we were to do the work ourselves, how much it would be, but we're talking, north of $3,000 of these repairs. And I don't know what happened before. I don't know if, things just weren't reported to the HOA or what, but since there's been, open lines of communication directly with Mark and his team and Wiser that we've identified a lot of needs that need to be addressed.
Charlotte, KW.
Right.
Yeah, so a perfect example, we had Nathan and I went a couple weeks ago. There was Mark had reported issues with the gate arm and the residential side, as you all may recall. Had to get an electrician out because the vendor company said it's an electrical problem. We had Bentley come out and he probably spent 2 days out there and the whole panel needs replaced. We've got breakers. He fixed what he could to, patch it along, band-aid it along, but that needs an overhaul in and of itself.
I would just comment, in reviewing, which we will do later, the post orders. I compared them to the ones that had been on record and approved about 1.5 years ago. There's a lot of detail in there for the gate person of how there are things, little tricks they can do to manage it and avoid. But I don't see any of that in the new post orders. So the question is it possible that there are some little stand on one foot and whistle tricks that can be applied if the gate agents are aware of them, which are not in the new post orders?
Okay.
I don't know if that is applicable, but something to consider perhaps.
Good point. We get some of that from the vendor. There was just an invoice that came through for the cameras, and the cameras were offline, and the vendor actually came back. Well, they came and did some work, but they said, if this ever happened again, here are 1 or 2 things you might try on your own.
Yeah.
So forwarded it over to, I'm forwarding it over to Mark. So.
Okay, so, and what is the record of, and should that be incorporated into something at least posted in the room, in the place itself?
I think it gets down to what we want the post orders to be, because one of the discussions we also had was that we would provide the what and they would provide the how.
Sure, that makes
So
sense.
maybe we just need to talk to them about, do you put this in the post order itself? Do you put it as an addendum? Do you have, maybe they have a binder with these types of things. I don't know.
Okay.
That's a good point. Okay, that was helpful. Thank you.
Jennifer, you
yes.
said all those invoices for the gate problems, do those get charged to the gate technology?
I think it's getting charged to gate, no, I think it's getting charged to gatehouse repair and maintenance.
See, if it was charged to gate technology, which that's the gate technology that operates the gate, it tracks it better on an ongoing basis, because the gatehouse to me is more of a building structure.
Okay, well, it's
So-
not being charged there because we don't have any year-to-date actuals. I was assuming it was going to gatehouse repair and maintenance because so far this year, and I have a little spreadsheet that I was just logging into, $12,840. So that's why I assumed it was going.
But looking at going forward.
Right, I understand what you're saying. So maybe in 25. Okay. It was very easy for Laura to pull out what had happened in the past, from the beginning of the fiscal year. And then as other invoices came in, I just kept adding it to the spreadsheet.
All she does is run it by vendor type because we know it's the same vendor every time doing it. So
Yeah,
she can spit it out and boom.
yeah, it turned around really fast. Okay. Anything else about finances? That was the only thing I wanted to bring up because it just astounded me.
Well, the only comment would be all those capital items. Put the ball up to that, but
Right.
we can end here. That's with 1 month to go.
Yeah, this is through August.
Mhm.
Not too long. Oh, what?
No, just
Okay.
one September. Yeah.
We're pretty loaded up. Yes, for 1,276,000. We spent 813,000.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
14. Yep.
Lot of roadway repair money there for us.
Yep. And we have some plans maybe to spend it because we're going to talk about some.
Good.
Okay. Anything else on that item? Okay. Then we have items for discussion. The first one is FPL streetlight conversion presentation.
So Helene pulled Eric away. He was going to be here to actually present this to you all. I will take a stab at it, but we can reschedule him to come back at your next meeting. Essentially, just kind of give a little backstory. I think this started at the PPAC level, truth be told. When they saw the district doing the streetlight conversion project for the rest of the greater Gateway side from district-owned streetlights to FPL-owned and maintained streetlights, said, well, what about us? Let's look at Pelican. At the last board meeting, the board approved turning over the tree line lights over to the county, so we're in the process of doing that. The only other streetlights that are district-owned within Pelican Preserve are essentially your main thoroughfares. So Pelican Preserve Boulevard, Cypress Grove, Prado. Prado. Sorry. So turned to FPL and said, hey, can you give us design matching existing or give us some options, what the cost would be, etc. Essentially, attached on your packet is the FPL LED catalog based on the tariff. And then Eric put together some different proposals and options for you all, which he will be back to present. The only cost to this, other than the monthly cost if and when it does get installed, is there is approximately $159,000 worth. It's called contribution in aid of construction costs. So it's basically the labor work of doing all of the underground conduit for all of that. So if you wanted to convert, because the rest of Pelican is already FPL, that would be your cost, and then your ongoing, rent, because you lease. That's what you do with FPL is you lease these poles and you pay for the power. But these are all of the fixture heads that they have. And then I'll just scroll to the bottom, which is probably what everybody's more interested in, is what the pricing that he had put together for Pelican. So, okay. So these are the different types of, I'm going to pull it up. So teardrop is kind of what you guys have out here. I know you've got a couple of these traditional carriage, I think, down in Palazzo. Roadway lighting is what we're going to over on the Greater Gateway side throughout. These are the different costs approximately. You'll have to select a pole as well. And he provided the different pole options of what he would recommend with these fixture types. So these are the different types of poles. So standard concrete, black fiberglass, I can never say octagonal. Woo. Anyway, the different types. So you can see the corresponding options. And then below, again, $159,000 approximately in CIAC costs. And then he gave the projections of the total monthly cost of the different option and the fixture types, depending on what you choose. So you can see what those are. The plans, I believe, I did not attach the plans. I don't know why I did not.
I didn't see any plans, but those lights on what he had done this preliminary plan on. That he had on this. I just had all sorts of questions. This is it. I had all sorts of questions about it. He did a preliminary design and he used a different light than what he showed there.
Well, I guess for the well, what would be helpful is if you could give some direction that I could give him feedback. So if you say absolute no concrete, no concrete poles, no of the roadway style, Cobra head type poles. If you say we only want to match what's existing, then I can be clear in my direction and come back to you all with exactly what that proposal would look like. And he can go back and do the photometrics based on that. So I need some, you don't have to give me feedback right now. You can wait till he comes back and presents. But if we already kind of have questions, I'd rather try to have clear direction. Okay.
That's what I thought.
I would agree.
I wanted to just show you. It was me who had him put the concrete poles in there just because I wanted you guys to see what that cost difference is, because it's significant. So anyway, yep. Other way? Yeah, up.
Keep going.
the fixtures?
The other, those ones with the wood or whatever, when they did their
The teardrop?
preliminary design, those aren't the one, he said those wouldn't work. They had to use, it's up in their catalog.
Okay.
It's basically that on the right there.
This one. I thought that was for tree line, because that's what's on tree line. Okay. Well,
We wanted to get a group together of different people and actually discuss some of it and sit down with them before they did their design. So we wanted to try to improve the lighting in certain areas from where it is and stuff.
so ultimately, this is the catalog that's part of the tariff. This is what your limited options are, unless you want to, unless you don't want to change out the main thoroughfares to FPL and you want to totally look at continuing to own and maintain, which then we have to have the district engineer get involved because of the photometric design. But if you all want to look at this and come back to the next meeting and say, okay, this is we want to stick to matching status quo, but caveat, enhancing, naturally, this is all math. So once you pick the fixture type, they know what the lumens are, they do the placement, they know the throw of each thing. So you just have to pick the style you like. We know we want LED because that's efficient. Tell me which one, I'll have him.
Has Gateway determined that this?
We did at the board level because of the projected cost to totally do all of it and own it ourselves. It was going to be north of $9 million on the Gateway side. Laura has been, again, back to the data. We don't really have the data when it was submitted under PPCA of the maintenance cost, other than having to go through every single reimbursement request that was done. What we have is, since we've taken it on in-house, what those costs have been. In the long run, I think it's going to be cost effective, but if you pick a lower lumen light, you're going to have more poles, which means more monthly cost.
Well, one of the things that they attract among others, not knowing the cost, we were having nothing but problems with the old wiring.
Yes.
So we knew we had to do something. Now it's just a question of what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
This is an option. We ought to know. It's point. Let's get a group that says this cap, this pole, these lights, and then get a cost
In this location.
in each location. Because whatever we do, we may by neighborhood, PPCA, if it's cost effective, it may do the same thing.
The neighborhoods are already FPL.
They're FPL, but they may want to move to this type of a bidding process or a payment process. Because right now we're paying for our poles when we change. But under this, we won't. If the pole gets damaged.
You call them up and
So, from the whole community point of view, there's a lot of opportunity.
Mhm.
We pay a lot of money to Bentley Electric and the FPL, all these different people.
yeah,
And we're really not getting a lot of value.
No.
Well,
understood. So again, what I need
let's
to
zero in on what we want. Real quick.
So that's to what I need to move forward. If you want to continue to look at FPL, tell me the fixture type that you like or none. And then I'll tell Eric he'll tweak the photometrics and come back to you with a proposal based on that. Now, my experience with dealing with lighting is you do your standard and then you have your lighting, and if you need to enhance your lighting levels, because at Cypress Grove and Pelican Preserve Boulevard, we have a lot of issues there, and we want to have our maybe a little bit higher, but still within the range, we can evaluate that. Hey, let's add another pole at that intersection because of those issues.
So how do we go from these documents, getting a group together to make decisions, what we want?
Okay, because I think the first step is to make decisions what we want, and then we also said we were gonna do a business case. So, we need a group to say, okay, here's what we want, and then we're gonna, maybe the same group then would be willing to do some
You
number.
want to do it here, right now? If you're a system supporting you,
Well, maybe what we can do is say the general principle is like for like, except where we might need a change. And maybe what we can ask the group to do that we commissioned today is to go out and check that out. So maybe what we can do is get somebody from our committee to work with some people outside the committee, so we have a group, and we don't have to worry about sunshine laws. And ask them, please go out between this meeting and next meeting, assuming like for like except, and then maybe list out those exceptions.
I'll volunteer it. He's already been it.
Because I've been street lighting for years.
Yeah, but you might have been about to say something, maybe? It looked like.
Pardon?
Were you about to say something when Bob volunteered you? Was that to volunteer or you had an idea?
Street lighting for years and years.
Well,
Okay,
Ed, generally, what were some of your questions, just so the
Yeah.
committee can kind of brainstorm that?
Well, I felt that we had the design that went with some of this, but he said they were going to use the teardrop, the one hang down, down below that, that one. On the main boulevards. They only do it from the outside of the street, not on any of the
Medians.
medians. So there's certain, like the main four-way stop and that where some of those lights are in the medians, if those wouldn't be there. But part of what we wanted, so they were gonna use that, but then when you get down, there's 2 or 3 lights in Vincennes, that those need to be the carriage lights like all the other neighborhoods. So that all the neighborhoods have the carriage lights for similar. So those would be replaced with that.
Is the teardrop carriage?
Carriage is where,
Okay, okay.
like what you have on your street. Well, once you get down to cross the bridge on Pelican, they had to go to a different light originally because the boulevards right of ways aren't wide enough. So they had to go with a different post headlight on there. But then there's questions. Those are all in front of those condos there right on Pelican Boulevard.
Vietnam. Tires.
Yeah. To me, there's some questions on there about, because they have carriage lights, but the carriage lights, but they're tucked back in all their landscaping, and so to me, we have to talk with the neighborhood a little bit there, let them know what's going on and see what they might have. And then when we get down to Plaza, it'd be replacing those carriage lights with carriage lights. But I think there's certain, the entranceway, there's always been a lighting issue, not having enough lighting in the entrance. So we could use this opportunity to, rather than putting additional of our own lights, have FPL put more lights in there to light the gatehouse entryway up better. And there's certain intersections where we want to make sure that the pedestrian crosswalks and some of those things are lit maybe better than they would normally light. There are just a lot of issues like that I thought we ought to have a group to be able to sit down with them and discuss it before they did their design.
So I apologize because I thought I had put this in your packet, but this is the plans. I will get this to you all. This is the design that they did. Keep in mind, typically when they do design, they charge us, and they opted to do this for free. FPL chose to do this for free. Yeah. So ultimately, to Ed's point, all of these he's correct. They do not do them in the medians. And going down, they tell which transformer. I will tell you on the Gateway side right now, the conversion project that we have going on, I could not ask for better contractors. They are so open, communicating. If we have an issue, we did have one issue, knock on wood, but it wasn't marked, but could not ask for better contractors. And if you were to move, I would request the same contractors come over here. They are so attentive to detail. But ultimately, this is, again, they have the photometrics, they have the design. Anytime that they have to trench or bore, that's what the cost, that $159,000 cost is. And see kind of around the intersection, 1, 2, 3, really 3 lights. You may want to consider asking for more on the previous one. Okay. So I apologize that this is totally on me. I will send this to you all. Or if you decide on the volunteer group that you want to have.
Well, why don't we get it to everybody and then we'll make sure the volunteer group has it as
The,
well.
one, did he go beyond the bridge there? Or did he stop?
That, and then this ties in there, it starts on the
Yeah,
other
that's
side
all.
of the bridge.
That's his.
I will say that on the preliminary, when he presented it to PPAC a year ago.
Oh, yeah. He said on this one, it's 160. That was the new number.
When they did their
That was-
back in the envelope,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know. Be like 400. I
So,
don't know whether
Well-
we included the carriage lights on.
Is there value in like for like to begin with, and then enhancements? They get a two-step, or you want to increase lighting?
Should we do, you mean two-step in terms of the construction,
Well,
two-step
from a-
in terms of
from
the
a-
analysis?
From an analysis.
Yeah, okay, okay,
Take what we have today
yeah,
and replace it with what
Absolutely.
they're recommending, and we pick what we want,
yeah,
and that gives us a number.
right,
And then we say, okay, we know the financial needs more, so throw in whatever we need. We know we want more at a dangerous intersection, throw in what we need, and that'll give you a different number.
yeah, and then you can track like for like and what we're adding.
Yes.
Because that's really important, I think, not only for the business case, but also for letting residents know what we're doing.
Yes.
okay, so initial feedback, I'll send this out, but I will relay to him, we need to make sure it's like for like that's out there. So in Palazzo, they've got traditional carriage. We need to get those to be traditional carriage, or you said in some of the communities.
Because like along the, I think we're looking style wise.
Mhm.
Do we have any concrete poles anywhere?
Well, in town center.
Well, all
Yeah.
three of his proposals have concrete poles. right?
Well, because that's the.
He had choices, I thought.
Well, we don't want concrete.
No.
No, he has
Well,
decorative,
they make-
oh yeah, they
make-
are, well, there's one that's fiberglass as well.
No,
We don't want fiberglass.
They're all concrete except fiberglass.
Yeah.
Standard black fiberglass.
they're painted.
Yeah.
Hurricane.
Yeah,
Octagonal.
hurricane-proof.
Well,
Then we want concrete
Oh,
poles.
then we want.
The ones that he quoted were this black, I'm not gonna try to say it again.
Octagonal?
Thank you. With the arms. So that's what he had put on the plans.
that one, that number 4 is probably the closest. Is that the octagonal?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the closest to the existing post on most of the boulevards, but where you have the lights on top of the post,
Mhm.
where you put your front entrance way, they're more the flat, the 3. But, you know, when you first come in, all those lights are, the light is on top of the post,
Mhm.
like down in town center. And so that's where I think, in my mind, you would go with, the 4 with the arm throughout the whole thing. You know, if you go light for light, then you're like, okay, are we trying to do a post top on the entrance or just, it's kind of the same, as close to the style that most boulevards do everything with that.
These are your main roads,
Yeah.
and I would illuminate your main roads as consistent as possible.
Who's responsible for the appearance of blackness? If the concrete fades, chips, they're all on FPL, if we go with that recommendation.
So I'm having that same issue over in Stony Brook, and the response that I'm getting is that that's cosmetic in nature, and that as long as the function of the pole is doing as it should, that they don't basically care about cosmetics.
So we'd take on the base.
Yeah. So
It's maybe on the weather.
What would be interesting to see is the black, probably got.
Okay, is there anybody on the committee who'd like to work with that on this?
Or somebody who's not yet on.
Everybody else besides yourself? Are you the only one? I don't know all going on, where I should be,
Okay.
but
Rick, you do great.
I'm fascinated by it.
You do great. Just one comment, sir. Just one comment, sir. Ted runs by him every day. Yeah.
I don't want to say no. I don't know enough yet.
Okay, he didn't say that.
If they know.
Ed, we can work on it together. You and Nathan can work on it together.
Oh, that calls
At least I didn't volunteer.
Okay, and then think about it, team, and see who might like to participate as well.
So
Um,
you two will work together.
Sorry.
Oh, the timing? You set the schedule. You set the schedule.
Sooner the better.
yeah, between now and the next
Sooner the
meeting.
better.
Are you
So-
okay with that issue?
Well, so to that point, once it gets approved, once this committee approves it, then it goes to PPAC for approval, then it has to go to the board for approval. Once that contract is signed, I mean, it takes them months to plan out. So it's the actual construction, if you proceeded, probably wouldn't be until this time next year, truth be
Well,
told.
the first leg is pretty simple. Pick the pole,
Yeah.
pick the top.
It's probably, maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but isn't it probably just a few hours of going out and taking a look and making some decisions? So,
Here's your choices. You do this, or you do that.
Limited.
I'll work with that.
We can probably turn back up our recommendation because of the next meeting.
Yeah.
What you do.
Yeah, I can't be here next meeting.
The recommendation will be.
The recommendation.
right.
It's gonna kind of be like painting the monuments. It's real simple to make the decision, but now we're gonna do.
Now we have to.
Yeah.
It's gonna be simple.
Okay.
We're gonna change the
All right.
pole.
Terrific. And then when we get that, we can start talking about a business case. Because we do want to do a business case. Because I think we need to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible here. Pardon me? Okay.
No more free electricity.
Yeah.
Ed
Yeah,
could
that's
rewire
actually a
things.
good point, actually.
Ed could rewire things. you know.
Yeah, well, I didn't hear that. Okay, thank you, everybody. The next thing is Safety and Security Subcommittee member recommendation. We have somebody who is applying. Okay. Applying to join our committee and wrote up a very nice write-up that's provided in the agenda package. Any questions, comments? I'm sure everybody's had a chance to take a look at this.
With this, will we still have an opening, another
I
opening?
think.
Yes, you have Dean and Danny.
Mhm.
So you had 2 openings.
Well, I'll give a couple things that struck me, and that was a lot of volunteer work. He's a full-time resident. He's been accepted to the Fort Myers Citizen Police Academy, and he's on a lot of, well, quite a few PPCA committees as well. So I think there's a lot of dedication there to try to improve the community and worrying about law enforcement and safety and that kind of thing. Those are the items that struck me as I reviewed this.
I know from the coffee morning meeting, he's always interested. He's interested,
Oh, very good.
and I grabbed him.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Any other comments? Okay, would someone like to make a motion to make a recommendation to PPAC to accept Rich to our team or on our team?
I so moved.
Do we have a second?
Seth Crawford.
Who seconded? Jay?
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. All opposed? Okay, we passed. So we're gonna make a recommendation to PPAC.
Okay.
That'll go to the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, terrific. All right, next thing on our agenda is Bellagio road repairs. And last meeting, we had made a motion to wait until this meeting to do the approvals. I know that Jay, you said you wanted to do a walkthrough.
Yeah, I did, and I think we should approve it.
It's on our list. Is it on the list?
It is on
the
the,
sequence.
well, not in sequence, no. But, went and looked at the area, and tracking pictures, and, one or two of them is
Yeah.
kind of depressing. The water's.
No pun intended.
So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that is the one area among all the roads that I really noticed, those random roads. Right there, that's the worst spot right there.
Okay.
And they're growing. So for a patch, it would hope for a few years, because if we're looking at programming, road resurface and so forth, it could be down in the lower part of the satisfactory or several years out. But I don't think it can go that long unless it causes more damage.
Well, the last
And
time,
it's like,
the last time we
$45
compared
million.
it, right? What was patch versus a. Yeah. That's the data. And like
Yeah.
I say, on this point, we only got both.
yes, that's just for patch. Now, the Tetra Tech report, you see what they showing the review. Only the driving report was just oh, yeah, no. $96,000 to do the whole county drive.
Okay. And this one is 4.7.
Because we need to talk about, okay, how are we wanting to program in the future?
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of trains of thought on the roads. Even the report is a guide, just go top to bottom. So, think we can do help sort of main roadway in the next 2 or 3 years, because that's the primary interest, that's the travel. And then go back and go through the roads. Program.
Okay. Well, that's
Depending on money.
right. Okay. Well, let's start with this one. So you're comfortable with the patching, going forward with patching on. Okay, great. Excuse me, Bellagio. Do I hear a motion to approve this? Move forward with the recommendation that staff has for using Scott Construction, because they did get a
Is that
number.
who did Brandon Scott?
I don't remember.
Brunel was Ajax. But that was a whole road. This is just patch. You're not gonna get an Ajax to come out to do minor repairs. Atlantic Southern did Pelican Reserve Boulevard.
Oh,
Scott Construction did a lot of the sidewalk panels, and they also do this. We've used all 3 vendors. They're all qualified. They're all very good.
I make a motion that we approve Scott Construction of the Bellagio.
I was gonna ask you which one you would recommend.
yeah, that 95 should come out,
Should be out of
Oh,
the road maintenance.
yes.
Okay, you can make that as part of your motion, Jay.
Okay. Make a motion that we approve Scott Construction to do the Bellagio repairs and the funding to come out of, was that roadway R&M?
Road maintenance, is that what you said? Roadway maintenance. Okay.
Why is the price so different? Did I hear 95,000?
Well, no,
That
no.
was from,
Yeah,
he was
that's what to do, in the Tetra Tech report on to do the whole roadway.
Oh.
We're talking about grinding.
So we're only
down.
for this,
Right.
less than 5,000?
Yes,
The patches.
and that will hold it for a while.
Yeah, this is the one where, I don't remember if it was Nathan, somebody else went out and did that whole analysis.
Mark did.
Mark did. Okay,
Mark did.
sorry. And came back and recommended.
So you get a motion by Jay,
Okay, and then second,
I second that.
Ed.
okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that passes.
Yep.
Thank you.
What would be the next on the list that you want to do?
Well, I'll be on the drive, the oldest, and hasn't anything done to it that I can tell of the report, and running the road, walking it. It's rough. There's some areas that need to be done, and there was
So
going
do we
into
wanna
the,
Try to get some estimates for doing
Yeah.
that one?
the last one was like 154,000. It's a stretch.
Okay, so this would be a full replacement.
That would be a
That's it.
full replacement.
Correct, okay.
If we got the money in the budget year, let's knock it out.
Yeah.
It's gotta be done.
You want to bring that up at the end under member items?
Okay. That
Use some other
appropriate.
roads too,
Okay.
but what are we thinking about Pelican Road? Do we want to wait a couple of years and then go through? Because by that point, we'll be into the, they call it satisfactory, like 40% of the roads.
Yeah, and
What
when
it's supposed.
to try to articulate it one more time. Tetra Tech study, when they did it, they looked at Pelican Boulevard as one
Yes.
entity from Clear Line to Palazzo.
Yes.
This is one business. But, so it's way down on the list, but the stretch from Tree Line to the four-way stop
Mm-hmm.
is in the, probably the worst shape of almost all the roads that you'll look at. But that stretch would be, based on the Tetra Tech numbers, would probably be about a $300,000 project. To do, because it's 4-lane, you know, and it's a pretty long stretch. So we patched the potholes last year. But, you know, and we threw it, we've got like 260,000 next year in the 25 budget. So there's kind of nothing next year's budget to do that, but if you do a little bit this year, well, you have some reserve to do some things.
Well, it's we gonna help us out in the old one account.
Why don't we look at it, why don't we look at investigating on the item and that particular stretch?
And, you know, we're figure out how to, I'm kind of talking to Jason alongside, it's like, how do we do this? What are we gonna do like over the next 2 or 3 years? That one chunk of, we may have to shorten 1 year to be able to, you know, to spread this out to a bigger chunk on, you know.
Well, it's so far, we've only committed 6,000, so we have.
That's under, what we did here was a 4,000 or something,
Yes.
that's under maintenance for
Yeah,
40,000.
Oh, that one's that one. I thought that one, sorry.
If in street maintenance is 40,025, you'd have, there's a total of 300 on capital, but that's split between the road hump, or speed hump and road and roadways.
And bike lane markings?
You've still got 300,000 total. Some thousand.
Yeah,
You've only allocated 6,000 so far. You know what the speed limit is gonna be.
the 6,000 is out of maintenance, which is different.
But, okay, but they're, in my mind, they're both the same. I'm talking about your kid, your bucket. Your bucket's got X numbers on it. So if you do, the existing repair, we're gonna do Veloci. That's X out of that bucket. What remains? If you analyze Aviana and, Pelican Reserve Boulevard, get those numbers and then you can kind of.
So here's what I would suggest. You set your priorities. You give that to staff. You let Daniel, when he gets back, solicit proposals, because the more paving a contractor can do feet wise, it's cheaper, but it's less mobs and it's more enticing for the bigger names in the game. I will caveat that with, we have a bike lane marking project that still needs funded, that we're working through the permitting, which Nathan can give you an update here shortly. But set your priorities based on what you see out in the field, and then we will work through with the vendors on getting pricing and trying to stretch the dollar as far as we
And
can.
that's which.
For
Yes.
example, I give this from Pelican down to the four-way stop there.
Right.
With, Benita. They're on down to Cypress.
Or to the bridge, or whatever.
Yeah, or wherever. But the first parts have the most traffic.
Absolutely. Everybody sees it coming.
Okay. That sound good to everybody? Excellent.
So I just need to recap,
Oh, yeah.
so I'm clear. So
Oh.
you're gonna put together a priority, and then at your next meeting, provide that to staff. Staff will solicit proposals for that.
Well, I think we know the priority, or we know the areas we want to get put in. Staff can start on that pricing right now.
So can we just reiterate that for the record?
So it's Pelican Preserve to the four-way stop, and that's at Benito, right? That four-way.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
all right.
And,
And then Aviano is.
yes.
you should have some
Now-
preliminary prices at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Well, Bellagio is separate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we're talking through the Tetrick.
So the Pelican Preserve Boulevard to the four-way stop. So that's entrance to four-way stop.
Yep.
And
That's
then, tree line to four-way stop, and then Aviano. A full replacement on Aviano.
Mhm.
You want both? You want repairs and? Both items. Got you. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Staff will work on that.
Okay, terrific.
Then we can talk forward about the next. Anyway.
Yep.
Of the road.
Thank you for that clarification.
And that's consistent with the priority list. Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, with,
One
well,
thing-
Aviano, yes, Pelican.
There's very little difference between what's rated fair, satisfactory.
Within budget
Moderate.
So we just didn't skip something.
Let's
we
eat.
done with something.
Well, Pelican would be the only one,
Right.
but they rate over the road.
Yeah.
So. But yeah,
You
I'll be
okay?
on with tomorrow.
Wrong pipe.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's scary sometimes. Okay. Next. It's the agenda. Okay,
The infamous deal.
yeah.
And Nathan,
Right.
excuse me. I do have Nathan here to present this item for you.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay,
Great.
so after soliciting this project for 30 days on Demand Star, we came back with, we actually portioned this out so that bidders could come in and do only the signs, only the striping, only the concrete work. We only had two contractors come back and propose for the whole project. That was Tobler and Atlantic Southern. Tobler would only do the concrete and striping without the sign. They would not do individual sections besides that. Lycans came back with only signage, and McShay came back for only striping. And then going back to Tobler, they are willing to move forward with another vendor doing the signs, which we looked at. The best pricing for that was Lycans at $5,580.
Mhm.
And then also coordinating with FTE to provide CEI for this project, which is not on this agenda packet because they provided it separately. I didn't get into the agenda in time. Was not to exceed 5,900, which still falls us under the budget of 40,000 that's in the FY25 budget.
How is Lycans performing? Are they catching on?
No,
Terrible.
no, we're actually contemplating,
Still the only.
we're contemplating doing our own, having Mark and his team. We can order the parts ourselves and put it together ourselves, but then we just have to paint it. We're actually contemplating taking those types of signs in-house. But my experience with Lycans is if we had a yield sign get hit overnight at the roundabout, one-offs, they're the absolute worst. But on a project specific, like if they know they're coming in to do a whole shebang, I mean, you still got to follow up with them, but they're better than if they have just a one-off because the tracking is not the best. So
Still bad.
yeah, pretty much. So total project you had in your budget was $40,000. By piecemealing it out, we've saved some money. We have inspection services and project admin by FTE. FTE did the design of this and the permitting of $5,900. You're still under budget couple grand. 15.
What kind of recommend?
So we're recommending Tobler do the partial,
Yeah,
do
put
the,
that back.
There's a.
oh,
That's all the-
okay, hold on.
That's a nice review.
So the highlighted, the two highlighted are the recommended. So signage done by Lycans and Tobler doing the concrete work and the striping work.
Oh, okay.
So you're at 29,125 and then plus $5,900 for FTE to do the construction admin. You're at $35,025.85, which comes in about $5,000 under budget. So you'd be able to move that to your bike lanes.
Any other questions? Do I hear a motion to approve this recommendation?
To include also the FTE price.
Oh, yeah, thank you. To include the FTE price. $5,900.
Nobody wants to approve?
Am I allowed to make a motion?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'll make,
Okay, we got a first and second.
oh, we have first and second, okay.
Who's first?
Put a little pressure on it. Ted first. Nobody wants that next one.
Ted and then,
I'll go first.
okay, and who did the second? Jay? Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Me.
Okay.
Okay.
Passes.
So we will, next steps, this will have to go in front of PPAC, which Nathan's already got it on their agenda. Once that's approved, it's already a budgeted item, so it's not going to go in front of the board. Even though it's over $30,000, you had this budgeted as a single line item in your thing. So the contractors will be notified. They'll have to go pick up the permits. I know that's been an issue in the past. We'll make sure that gets done this go around, and then work on scheduling and notification to the community. There will be MOT. They will have to, flag because they'll have to close the lane. So we will make sure we get that notification out well in advance. So we're hoping to try to get it done before Thanksgiving if possible. So I think that's when a lot of your folks come back.
We need a party for that. We need a ribbon cutting or something.
Perfect.
Can you also work with KW to make sure we don't have any large events happening while that's.
We will.
Okay,
Good point. Nathan's gonna make note of that.
okay. Yeah, if there's some special event or concert or
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah, we don't
that's a
wanna-
Good week.
Okay. All right. And then, perfect. And then Nathan's also got an update on the bike lane marking, and then he can skadoodle out of here.
Okay,
So for the bike lanes, we've been going back and forth working with FTE with the permitting phase. Permits have been resubmitted after some corrections. We have the 100% plans, which are on the agenda. They removed the bike ramps, taking the bike lanes to the sidewalks because per FDOT requirements, you would have to have a 10-foot sidewalk to have bike lanes transition. So we removed the ramps and it's just going to be on the street. Also, we removed some thermoplastic striping on the roundabouts because we're not going to the ramp for the roundabout. They're going to be transitioning into the low-speed roundabout based off FDOT preferences for bike lane usage. So that's back at the city for approving. I think we're waiting on engineering and roads to approve it. We should get that back. I do also have, actually, I didn't have it included in here because we got it at the last minute. The updated engineer's opinion of costs came out to be $127,697.
oh, boy.
Um,
I didn't realize it was gonna be that much.
I don't think
Yeah.
anybody did. So we're waiting on the permits. As soon as we get the permits, we will go through and try to solicit proposals for this. I don't anticipate us doing this until after season, to be frank.
And this
So-
is another one where we're going to separate out the striping and the signage, try to save some costs as well.
Is there that much striping that needs to be done because it's already striped?
So there are some striping that do need to go down to make it FDOT compliant. And there's going to be some spots that will have to be covered.
Yeah, I know they have to.
But there will be, it's in the subcommittee folder that has the 100% plans that shows the changes from the 90% drawings. But yes, there are some striping that will need to be done.
$120,000.
That actually is down, after review of the 90%. It was, about 150, but we
Oh my
pointed out
God.
some correct.
The engineer's estimates aren't always 100% accurate until we get proposals. So I'm confident that the pricing that we solicit will come in less than that. You want some paint? We can get you the thermoplastic and go do it.
I
Okay.
have a question.
Let's try it.
That's.
You referenced that the plans were,
Lights breaking.
So I'll ask you some questions.
I think she was trying to speak.
yeah. You referenced having the plans in a particular folder. Can you go over which folder that is again?
I can show you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of those SharePoint things.
Yeah.
So
No,
on,
I get SharePoint. I just haven't seen those plans. I'm not sure which
I
folder.
just uploaded those today, the board meeting. because
Oh,
they have it on
okay.
The agenda.
Okay, that's no problem.
so under boards and committees on the
Yeah.
SharePoint site, you guys have the safety and security. And then bike
Okay,
lanes.
gotcha. Okay, thank
I
you.
just did that today because we didn't have it. on the
No problem. Yeah, I didn't see it before and
Did you want me to click on it?
yeah. I'll take a look. Well. Just briefly, and then we all know where it is and we can go back and do it. And for those of you who don't know SharePoint, when you go in to look at your email, everybody, okay, if you go to the top, sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right, I don't know why, there's 9 dots. Click on those 9 dots and you get all the different elements of, I guess it's Microsoft Office or whatever they call it.
These dots, right? See,
Those dots, yeah.
Those.
Click on it, you can see SharePoint, and you go into SharePoint, and then you go to boards and committees, excuse me, then scroll down to our committee,
Got it.
okay? And then you can see everything that's out there. And you can see, we'll be talking a little bit about post orders are out there, et cetera.
To go back to the bike lane project, you had that up here.
please. You want to go through the actual plans themselves?
And it was $120,000.
Well, here's your quantities, and then the quantities go towards, oh my goodness, sorry. These are your quantities, and then those are all put into the engineer's estimate. And don't worry, we said the same thing when we saw the estimate, because that is not what we expected. But when we had the roundabout striping, what was estimated and what was actually expended was polar opposite. So
Don't worry about it.
I don't anticipate us to come anywhere near.
Okay, but I'm still talking.
I've already had queued up, I think it's like 7 striping vendors, so we will have some competition on this.
Tim, you're talking about just putting chevrons.
No.
From chevrons, there's some, the bicycle symbol
Yeah.
as well.
Right.
This is also including inlet protection along the roadway, because they're gonna have to do some sweeping to make it accessible to actually do the striping. And then there are some thermoplastic lines that will be added at the entrance and exits of the bike lanes when they start to make them FDOT compliant.
Yeah.
The signs, again, we're gonna quote those out separately. I've already broken that quote form out again to try to save us on some cost.
I know it's blurry.
So there's gonna be a total of adding 29
Yes,
signs,
we can all
removing
go
6.
Take a look at it.
Yeah. So the plans are in here. And again, once we get the permit, as long as the city doesn't have any additional comments or things that we need to change, Nathan's going to solicit the prices. And like I said, I don't anticipate doing this work until after season. I'd rather wait, after April. No, you do not.
I
I was wondering if we redo the asphalt on Pelican Preserve, would we redo the?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
something to consider. You could choose to delay the project and not expend it. I mean, you do have, once the permit's issued, you have a set amount of time to pull it. But that's something we can ask the city on how long we have to do that. Because if you wanted to delay it or never do it, that's totally your purview.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I have to follow up with Marty. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm out there all the time. this is a lot of money to spend. And honestly,
Not gonna change.
people aren't gonna follow. They will not, you know, golf carts will drive in that lane. They could care less. It's,
What's driving this?
I just, at that expense, there's just no way I could go for
What-
that. I can't believe I'm saying.
Let me just ask a question. How much does it cost to go out and get the quotes to see how much this expense might come
It
down?
doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't
No,
cost anything?
no.
Okay.
Don't kill it till we.
Get the pricing.
quotes and stuff and
Yeah,
stuff.
because if this might go down significantly.
I can't even remember what drove this tonight, other than something P-PAC did about 8 years ago.
Oh,
They made an event,
Yeah.
and then he turned around and blocked them.
right.
I'm still dying.
I'd have to go back
So
and,
why are we doing the bike lane when we're gonna talk about repaving Pelican for certain people? And we'll pave right over.
You incorporate that as part of your capital cost and repurpose your $40,000 you had for this. Let's, let-
One question too might be, could this be done in phases? All we're talking on Pelican, all we're really talking about doing is from tree line to the four-way stop. This covers the rest of Pelican, Cypress Grove. And so that there'll be years before we
Yeah.
redo that. So could we do,
Sequence it so that.
could some of the, could the implementation of this be sequenced, I guess?
I don't see that with the permit having to be pulled because they're gonna do inspections and this is the plan that was provided. That, and then resubmit it and do it that, I don't,
and that took a long time, didn't it? That
It's-
took
it-
hours.
I would suggest us finish, let's see this through the permitting at least. Have Nathan, give Nathan the opportunity to solicit proposals. And then once you have those prices, make a educated decision from there.
I don't know, I think if the residents found out we were thinking of spending this much money on this school,
Yeah, but it was a
I
couple
can just, I
thousand.
can just hear the reaction.
Well, I don't know that we don't.
Let's find out how much it's gonna.
No, I mean,
It's
if
just a
it gets to
couple
the
thousand
point.
dollars, which may be.
10,000 or 120.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Two questions, Chelsea, this would be capital against road.
Just repaint the shed.
You had it budgeted in this current fiscal year's budget, so it would just be a carry forward.
I don't know.
Talked to Laura, she said it was,
But it was combined with,
it wasn't labeled as bike lane, she said it was labeled something else, but it was budgeted.
okay, maybe you want to send her a note and find out.
And she-
I recall it being in
She
this
told
current
us
year's
budget.
budget.
40,000.
We plan, they planned on doing that. But it,
I-
forgetting where it was budgeted.
Yeah.
But this would be a capital project,
Yes.
and so next year's budget, all we have is roads and the speed bump. And put capital.
Okay.
So it would come out of that.
Okay.
Unless we have carryover, we can use carryover to bring.
Yeah.
If we don't have to pay for this and, you know, we probably spent $60,000 on the speed hump. When you look at the engineering and everything else into it. You know, for the blasted speed hump that nobody wants, but anyway. The other, it's been the bike lanes, it's been a conversation over several years, I think, since I've been here, and there's been a concern that there's more and more bike traffic and that, and just it was from a safety to try, even though people may not all follow it, but if you can encourage the bikes in the one lane.
Especially with electric
Cars
bikes.
on the right lane on the boulevards and then cars, it will just help traffic flow with all the multi-use that we've got. Has been the concern over the years. Yeah, and granted, nobody knew what it was gonna cost. Because everybody thought, hey, they're there, all we gotta do is
Do a little painting.
repaint the bicycle symbols that were painted over.
Okay.
Maybe it's a midnight painting job.
I think we've discussed this one, so let's find out how much it's gonna cost and then come back. And if it's
Okay.
astronomical or unacceptable,
Maybe we accelerate. and do,
we'll make the.
I agree.
the appropriate decision.
We're living with it right now. Now it's good.
Or
Okay. The next item is review the Wiser post order. Thanks.
Thanks,
Nathan.
Nathan. See you later.
Yeah,
off the clock.
okay.
Until he gets back, it's off the clock. Bob's being snarky.
In your prior pay administrative today.
Mhm.
Can I make a suggestion that perhaps we put things like that earlier in our agendas so that we don't waste his time and our administrative dollars in the future?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So the version history on this item, Danny Clements had started the document, sent it to me, I cleaned it up, sent it back to him. I think he made some more edits, sent it back to me, I cleaned it up a little bit more. So this document is in the SharePoint site as well.
Mhm.
Again, final review needs to go by the attorney. Oh my goodness, I did it again. Once you get all of the final comments done, then I'll send this to Tony for his final blessing, and then we can incorporate that as part of the contract.
Okay. I know I have some comments that I have not put on SharePoint yet. They're all on my paper here, so I can get those in the next day or two. For people who have not had enough, yeah, I think you're in the same boat, right? You have it, the comments there?
I have 2 pages of comments,
Okay,
which I shared. I wasn't up on the technology of how to share, so I sent it to Laura, who said that she would have it available for you if we were going to go to that detail today on the screen. But if it could just be shared with the rest of the team, these are my comments line by line. Some are semantics, spelling, but some of them, in general, my greater comment is I compared them to the ones that have been on record since 2023, I believe, which seem to incorporate a lot of wiser stuff besides things specific to Pelican. What it appears to me is this newer version is letting wiser figure out how they get things done, and it's not really incorporated, which makes sense.
right.
But until we mesh the details, I think it just couldn't really be a fully working document until we really review it with a lot more detail.
Right. The intent for this is also a review, is we were going to provide the what, and they provide the how. So this, I think, is still the what. It's the
Okay,
expectations, a little cleanup from the last one in terms of, well, I noticed that some of the cleanup we were going to do wasn't in here, so I've got those in my comments. Things like, we need to make sure we've got incident reports done, and they didn't have the distribution list, periodic reviews, that was not in here, and I think those are expectations that we need to add in. So anyway, I'm going to add those in based on my feedback here. And then they would take that and add in, okay, here's the uniform. Here's how you use the wiser systems. Here's how you
yeah,
do this, that, and the other thing.
that's in that,
That's their stuff to add in.
of course.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I think what we want to try to do, at least in this step, is to get this updated so it matches our expectations of what we want them to do. So that they can then incorporate into their template. They actually have a template that they use for their post order. So they will incorporate this into their template, and then we can have the final review. But we need to get this over to them.
Doesn't the new contract start October 1st?
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm a little concerned because the tasks are changed. I mean, the car going around, those hours are changed and different.
So you're gonna need to
Well-
update this to reflect that.
So the point is,
Yes.
obviously, it's not going to be ready by October 1st.
No.
So
The good-
they'll roll with it.
They will roll with it, I'm pretty sure. And they responded to the RFP, and we saw what they had in there. They seem to understand the changes of scope. In the last, guess month, I've been working periodically, not a lot, but periodically with Mark. He's very responsive.
Yes, he is.
So if we need something, if we're seeing something that's not getting done and we're in an interim time, I know we can sit down with him and he will make sure things happen.
When is the bids out there?
Oh,
It's been awarded. You guys awarded it last
Yeah.
meeting.
I must have filed.
Oh, yeah, you might not have been here. Yeah, but we
Right.
went through we went through the whole thing, Weiser got it, they,
And it's already been approved.
Did it go down a lot? You see mine?
Yes,
we did.
I'll look up that.
It did.
You did.
yeah, we did it through the whole process that we talked about in our various meetings. So it wasn't cost only, because,
So do
Okay.
I need to put this on SharePoint or will you, does that happen when, because,
You-
I think you did.
Yeah, I don't think you want to pay me to put your comments on SharePoint.
okay, so this document that I sent to Laura as an attachment to an email, I need to just.
Go- Just go in and,
Yeah, because what it does, I don't know if anybody's ever seen this kind of process before, but you've got the base document, and as you make changes, it will say who's making the changes. And, well, proposed changes,
Yeah.
but changes to the document with your updates. And when you did it. So,
So when all the
You
inputs are done, then everything goes back to here to make a decision.
right.
Okay,
What I
so,
like.
wait, let me just, I
Sure,
need to
okay.
understand it better.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking I was doing is just submitting this onto the chip, so you guys can all read it and
That's correct.
and go against the actual printed document and make decisions. I'm not supposed to go in and do any edit.
Yes,
Oh,
Editing to the extent
to
that
the,
you're contributing your comments.
right.
does that, then we're gonna end up with how many different copies of?
No,
the
just one
version?
copy.
Only the one.
No, let me back up a little bit.
Your comments,
This-
Jen's comments.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry for my.
No, that's okay. If you've never done this kind of
Yeah.
thing before,
Yeah.
I've done this for years.
Yeah.
You put a base document out there.
Yeah.
You go out to, as Chelsea showed us.
I'm trying to-
he's
I'm
doing
trying-
it right
yeah.
now. He's making a change right
Yeah.
now. It makes a change.
So I can just do a cross out and, so that the old one stays.
Yes,
So you could, yeah.
right.
So you
Because
change the font, you cross it out and you put what you think should be there.
you just,
you
yep,
don't even have to change
You-
the font.
nope, you just type.
Just type it
Start,
in.
so like, look, if
No,
I,
let's change the font that makes do cross out.
no, it'll do it itself. Like, watch, if I start typing right now. Oh my goodness, I can't spell apparently. So it'll, and if I hover,
Yeah.
it'll say like, it's underlined, that's new. And then if you were to go in, it would do it a different color.
Okay.
And then I would be able to see who typed that in. And then there's version control on here. So like I'm gonna show you right now. So I can go see this version history button. So if we said, oh God, we didn't like that, we want to go back to the January one, I can go back to, I can click on it and go back.
So. And I'm sorry, one more clarification.
No, please.
If I can, I'll go in and do those changes, but how do I explain to you why?
You would do that at the next meeting.
Oh,
You can also put comments.
here's another thing. I'm gonna be in an airport tomorrow morning. I don't think I'm gonna be able to, I could certainly stick this on SharePoint, but I don't think I'm gonna be able.
You trust me to do it?
Absolutely, if you're willing.
There you
So
go.
you see the version from CC.
But at some point,
I think they're gonna
When-
merge some of the viewers.
it could be from, yeah, because I have the same kind of thing where I saw inconsistencies, I saw some typos,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them. And I call them typos. And then I had some substantial, you know, we need to add in incident reports, we need to add in
Until you,
expectation, periodic meetings, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I'm sorry to be obtuse about it, but.
No, if it's new, it's very
We
different.
always see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just in a job where we didn't use SharePoint, but we used something exactly like it. And it's magical. It's so
Here's
flexible.
a Florida Sunshine Law question. I would love to be able, or maybe you could do it, send her a copy of that so she can cut and paste at least.
oh yeah,
Rather
no,
than-
I had something else I had to send
That'd
out.
be great.
I had to send out the lighting. I can send out your note from this morning.
Yeah, rather
Sure.
than have her type, she can cut and paste if something is acceptable to.
Yeah.
I hate to think she's got to type.
I will send both of those to the committee later.
Okay,
Today.
perfect, thank you. Okay, so I would very much like to have a proposed date, that we would all have time to go in and make these changes into SharePoint. And then after that date, before the next meeting, have an opportunity for all of us to go in and take a look at the completion, everybody's comments and
Final.
finalize it, yeah. Okay.
One other question? I also have a much shorter list for the older version. I don't know to what extent things from the older version are going to get incorporated into that. So I don't know if you want to share that as
Older
well.
version being like the
The
stuff
one
that
that's
Weiser
on
put-
record now.
Well, I mean, like what kind of comments? The
Well,
stuff that
I
Weiser
mean-
would be adding in or?
Well, some of it.
Okay. If that could be sent to me as well, I'll take a look at
I
it.
need to send it to you.
Okay. Dates. Looking at calendars. How long would people need to if you haven't already done it, take a look at these, make any changes or suggestions you might have. I'm looking at committee members here. And then do we want to just split it 2 weeks and 2 weeks and say in the next 2 weeks by whatever date we look at here, and everybody will have made all their changes. And then for the following 2 weeks, between when those changes have all been submitted and when we have our meeting, everybody takes a look at the finalized version so that we can come in and hopefully make a recommendation to approve that at our next meeting.
I don't need much time.
Our next meeting is the 24th. 24th of October.
24th of October. Okay, so how about, this is my proposal here. How about if everyone gets their changes into SharePoint by, let's see, October 11th? And then review everything between, let's see, the 12th. Okay, and okay. Let's see how we're going to run this. We can just get, the reason I'm hesitating here is how do we want to handle if there's like a big objection or something? And we need to talk about it,
I can't imagine.
no.
Point would be
Okay.
a big
All
objection.
right. All right, so then have everybody between the 12th and the 17th review what's on SharePoint, no more changes, because we need to make sure that everybody's looking at the same version of the document. So if there are no more changes after the 11th, then Georgia is free to pull that on the 17th to put it in the agenda package.
Okay.
Okay, if we do that, then all those other mumbles that I was doing earlier, they don't count. All right, so one more time. By October 11th, everybody gets their individual changes into SharePoint. No more changes on SharePoint, but review SharePoint and make sure you have it, you note it on your own paper somehow. If you have any questions or concerns, in the next meeting, we'll go through all of that, agree on any changes that we need to make, and approve the document to be given to Weiser for their post orders. And then they can incorporate all of their stuff, put it in their template, and we're good to go. All right.
And thank you for doing my entry.
Well, that's okay.
Really much appreciated.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
In those procedures, it's dwelling line incorporated in that.
They
It's
never
mentioned. Well, it's mentioned by a generic name, but not the exact name of the program.
But I mean, how they're supposed, because there's a big misunderstanding in the community on how that's supposed to be used or is used, or there's all sorts of inconsistencies. So I didn't know if this clears it up or whatever.
Can you give an example? Like inconsistencies in terms of how long, the one I can think of is how long does
Somebody's coming to somebody's house.
Yeah.
They don't get-
Right.
Or.
that's,
So
Um,
there's always a lot of comments out on Facebook about dwelling lines and how are people get there. You know,
Somebody come to
Right.
their house, they didn't know they were coming.
Yeah.
Didn't get notified.
okay, well, okay, I think the way it's supposed to work is that, and I use it all the time. I call them and I say, I have, this happened this week, I have Aztec Plumbing coming. They'll be here between 8 and 9, they'll be here about 3 hours. Call me if you have any questions. They come in, they check in, and then they show up at my house.
I know, but
Okay.
is it addressed in here? It's like,
Yes.
is that person supposed to All that, all or.
I just got it on my computer. I just
No,
put in who's coming.
Okay, it's not, I think what you're getting at is as a resident, what I'm supposed to do.
No, I'm
Oh.
doing a surprise access.
Oh, a surprise visit?
Yes, it's supposed to be.
Yes, yeah,
Someone shows up and they didn't know you were coming.
yes, that's in here. If they, yeah, if they
There's no
don't,
significance in there.
yeah. Because it says you must contact the resident, and if they can't get a hold of the resident, here's what they should do.
Chelsea was scrolling through there, I didn't see any.
Okay, yeah, it's there. Okay, I'm sorry.
Because the first
The
part.
question wasn't clear to
General
me.
public, can you get a day pass? But
No, it goes through what happens if people show up and they should have called in and not there, yeah.
And I look,
It's there,
hard to find.
but it's got a little bit of discrepancy about permanent versus, but that's in my comments.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't
yeah,
consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? You guys, I know the SharePoint is new to some folks. You guys okay with it up till now to try it out?
Still learning.
Okay. I'd say call me, but I don't think you're allowed to, so sorry.
No,
Call us. Laura, I can
Okay.
help you. Laura can help.
Understanding of the report.
Yeah, they don't have the stuff in here. That's the incident reports and that stuff I'm adding in because we used to have more information about, it says when you do them, but then it doesn't say what you do with them. And that's part of,
I made edits to that.
oh, have you? Okay.
I did. I said that it had to be sent to KW and then to our customer care at Gateway District email. And I think the chair of the, I think you
Okay,
were,
I didn't see that in my
One
version,
time.
so maybe I printed it off too soon.
It's in the hours.
yeah, so it would be,
Yeah.
I'm talking about somebody that logged somebody in.
Oh, that doesn't get sent out to anyone.
Shouldn't that be reported?
they would keep that as,
It's a record.
Yeah.
they would keep it as a record of it, a
It's
public
definitely
record.
recorded.
Yeah,
What we
This
just,
person walked in, didn't want to give her name.
right.
Or the
Yes, they do that.
license plate.
If they can
Says-
get the
yeah.
license plate, they do it, but they can't always get the license plate.
Well, license plate, yeah, they got.
Yeah.
camera
Yeah,
stuff.
license, they'll say, but yeah, they still have to let them in and it's very
People are
well
allowed to
documented.
decline giving their license.
Right, and it's very well documented on
Yeah.
if this happens, what the officer needs to do.
They document how many times emergency vehicles access.
yes,
They're supposed to.
they're supposed to, and these post orders.
Theoretically.
But that's actually,
Ambulance comes in, fire truck
yes,
comes in.
yes,
Through the main gate. Yep.
yes, and there's now the details.
That way to get in.
Okay, so the details.
No, that's not true. The emergency access road, they have access.
So the detail is in the wiser version. It's not in there. This is where the new plan is.
Yeah,
Here's what we want. You figure
Yeah.
out how to do it.
we've had some expectation issues with Wiser. And so those are the things that I think we needed to add in here and it didn't get added, which is fine. We'll just add them now.
Okay.
Okay, anything else on Wiser? Okay, I think we have a couple more things before we adjourn here. Sidewalk pressure washing status.
Currently in advance with meetings.
Oh, this is on the back of this one. I don't know why it's sitting that way, but anyway. Okay, we have done the pressure washing for, here we go. We have okay. I asked for this one to be put on because, the first, pressure washing had been done and it took an awful long time. And so I questioned, why was it taking so long to do? Turns out it was done manually because they were waiting for some parts. So I asked if we could get some status on that and how we were going to move forward. And I think that's been pretty well documented here. So thank you. In terms of what we're planning to do, do we have all the parts and
Yeah,
that we- okay.
we have had a heck of a time with this, especially only having like 20 hours on it. So we addressed the issue with the company we purchased it from, and it is operational again.
fantastic.
So, I mean, I saw the work being done on Ravenna. And they were using a power washer like I have.
That was because the swirly was down at the time.
Okay, and it must, I saw guys out there 3 different days. I mean, I could have done it
How many
2
guys,
hours.
and how many guys did you see out there?
4 guys. I mean, and only
there's
one
only
guy
one
was spraying the sidewalk.
And there's only one. Why do we have 4 guys out there?
Yeah, that's true. I lived right there and I just kind of wondered that, you know, and I don't like to be critical of you guys,
I think I
but
brought that up.
it just stuck out at me. I can do my own walk in a couple hours. So
Well,
I'm just.
I didn't see it personally. I just saw the
I saw
results
it
on the
'cause
wall.
every day I ran.
And
by
actually,
it.
to be honest, Peggy brought it up.
This is,
So,
oh, this is like, ooh.
okay, but at least we're now operational and this should be a little bit fewer people and faster completion time.
Yeah, I'm used to it. Here,
2 people,
when you see contractors.
minimum.
Okay. So I don't know if Ted heard that, just for expectation. With the equipment, it's a minimum of 2 people will be out there,
Okay.
but it'll go much faster.
Okay.
So
And it's a bigger machine. I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
Huge.
Okay.
this brings up a question, I think, for the local communities, and for the President's Council, I believe, because all of us in our communities have budgets for power washing each year. And an example would be in Casella, it's our, our driveway, so we do that. But we have one whole big sidewalk that belongs to Gateway. So, and we've been spending money year after year to do that. So the thing is, to who's taking care of scheduling, who knows which sidewalks are gateways and who is making sure, who coordinates that, I just don't know.
Mark Rothenberger. He's the one who's put together a tentative schedule right now. And
Yeah, I saw it and I saw Casella mentioned on it, I did.
And the list should come through this committee.
Typically, and I don't know how it is here, but even though the sidewalk and the grass between the sidewalk and the street is city, it's the property owner's responsibility to maintain those things in front of their property. The only thing I think that we should really be looking at are the kind of like landscaping. It's on the boulevards and those things that don't face residential properties.
Okay, it leads to another concern. I mean, up till now, you could get Gateway, or you could arrange for the Gateway to do, say, the bridge, the Casella Bridge or whatever, only if there was some tripping hazard or mold or slimy stuff on there, that they just did not do cosmetic cleaning.
Correct.
The question is, now that this force is on the team here, will they do the annual cosmetic cleaning, or is it still going to be doing just?
Never intended for cosmetically.
I think it's up to this group on some of that to decide.
I just think.
When it was purchased, it was not for cosmetic. It was for trip hazard, safety hazard, that type of thing.
Then I wonder, do we really need one for all year? Think about it. I mean,
Well, we purchased.
You have it, you don't have to use it.
no, well, that, duh. I mean,
Okay, well then I'm missing the point.
well, I'm just concerned that for those of us who manage community budgets, should we still be budgeting
Yes,
for doing power washing? Because,
yes.
In Monticello, we do our own side.
well, we always did.
And you should continue. But for the common areas like from Prado.
Okay.
I don't think it's our purview to tell you what to budget or not, but the
Yeah.
district will be handling district
District,
sidewalks. Okay,
And one of our sidewalks is a district.
and we will make sure that gets maintained.
Does that include Cousins?
No.
To be determined by this subcommittee.
Okay.
Safety concerns are always
Well,
first.
when it was purchased, it was said, not for cosmetic.
This committee could choose to change its mind in a year or two's time once we get caught up, but as of right now, we're focusing on the safeties.
I just think that it will come up. I'm not going to be at the President's Council meeting this week. They moved it. But I believe it's on the agenda.
Okay. Anything else about the sidewalk? Everybody good with status? I thought it was a good status. Okay. Next thing, and the last thing on the official agenda is, okay, I don't know that we need this anymore. This was the SharePoint tutorial that I was going to try to schedule offline because we thought we would be able to do it offline with fictitious projects, etc. But I was told, and as it says here, the district lawyer said no, it has to be scheduled. So hopefully, with the information we provided today and the quick tutorial, because I wasn't going to do a whole SharePoint thing. I was just going to show you how to get in and change the document. Hopefully we don't need this anymore.
How
But if we
about
do-
we do some simple instructions I can send that just like the 4 steps, hit the dots.
Oh, okay.
That'd be
And
very
I can send that when I send these other items
That's
today.
fantastic.
Quick steps
Yeah, because you.
and
we all
the
store-
link.
And yeah. It's the same site that you get in for your email. So when you're in your email, that's
Yep.
where you can go look for the 9 dots.
Go to the doc.
I
Okay.
think they're 9.
4 emails.
So
Okay, so
I put in here, Daniel, when he returns, he's our SharePoint administrator. He is intimately familiar
Right.
with this. So if you do want additional training, I would just say, put it as an agenda item. He can show
Okay.
you next
Yeah,
time.
literally all I was gonna do is show people, here's how you get in, here's how you find the document,
Mhm.
here's how you change it, some of what we were talking about today in terms of version control.
It's the .q thing that no one's still needing to, or SharePoint. If it's-
No, that's on our website, MuniDocs.
That's totally different.
Correct.
Okay.
So we can learn a lot.
Do we have anything else that we need to talk about today? Other than the next agenda?
And BioLife, we're doing the next one.
I can give a quick vial of life. We did the second vial of life distribution. And we gave away, we had 75 plus the leftovers. I know I gave a whole bunch to a group that I see on Tuesdays, and they were very appreciative. We gave away probably 3/4 of the vial. So we have some leftover. We gave out a lot, and we did not have the traffic that we had the day we were there. But we gave out a lot of them. And the thought that we had, well, Tim and I did it. And the thought that we had was maybe we want to wait until season comes, get another box.
I'll get another one.
And Coco was
Maybe
great in
November.
terms of getting it.
November, December.
Yeah, something like that. Probably December. Maybe January,
Maybe.
because people go
Oh,
back
for
and
Christmas,
forth
Yeah.
in November and December. And Coco was really great just to give her due. I went in there and she said, if you move it to Thursday, we've got vendors coming in, so there'll be more traffic. Well, it didn't seem to affect us, but
Okay, towards
You know.
January.
it was nice. The suggestion made sense to me.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the
How
vial of life.
did giving out the gateway flyers and refrigerator magnets?
People took them.
Same time.
Yeah, we took it. Yeah, we did it at the same time. And there were some people, to be honest, they took it because we gave it to them, and some people, no.
I had no idea what it was.
And a couple of people said, okay, now tell me again, what do we, oh, really? This is how we do it? It's that easy?
Well, I
Apparent-
gave it out at the Brokey Center that day. They
Yeah.
were inside and people left them there on the table.
Oh, did they? Well, there's a urban myth that the only way you can submit to see ClickFix is to go into the Pelican Preserve Lifestyles page, and it's like 10 clicks into it or something. And people, I said, no, just go to GSCDD. Really? It's that easy?
Education.
Yeah, so I think we just keep at it. So yes, people are always going to do that. I saw vials, 2 vials, not a lot, 2 vials sitting outside.
You need more flyers?
I will probably, yeah.
Okay.
So if you have
I
more
have a
flyers,
bag
okay, and magnets.
and magnets.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I got a lot.
I have 2 things.
Yes.
So we are slowly going to transition away from Teams on our website for viewing. We're going to be switching to YouTube. Part of that is we're trying to figure how to use artificial intelligence for our minutes. Instead of having to try to pay for those, send those out and have them paid for, try to use technology to our benefit. But if any committee members are afar and want to join in, we will still have the team link to send to them, but it won't be for public consumption. We are transitioning to that. And then I just want to make note, new fiscal year starts in 4 days, 5 days. Start thinking about your capital projects. These things take time to plan, to execute, to communicate. Definitely want to hit the ground running because we want to try to get all of your projects done in the fiscal year. And that's pretty much all. Daniel will be back October 11th. I think we're all counting down the date, myself, most importantly. He's sorely missed, but ready for him to come back. And he'll be returning as your point of contact probably at your guys' next meeting. So I think I'm sending him off to district manager certification training. I don't know when that is. I know it's in October. But either way, we'll make sure that you guys are covered.
Okay. All right, so that's a great segue to next meeting agenda. So we have the post orders. We have FPL. We have, if we have more information on bike lane.
Wiser region.
Yeah,
That's post orders.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
that's okay. Let's see what else.
This
The
quotes for paving.
Oh,
Paving.
Road-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Real
Mhm.
quick.
Yeah, if I could just chime in. Yeah, roadway quotes, yeah, Pelican Reserve. Roadway, what is it? Pelican Reserve? Boulevard,
Uh-huh.
out there to the four-way stop, Benito. Second priority, Aviano Drive.
Mhm.
Third would be Ravina Way. The first half, the last half's been done.
Okay.
And then we can go in next year, I've already got the fourth
Okay.
now.
Okay. And did I miss anything for next time, or is there anything else
Well-
we should be adding?
We'll probably have repair quotes for the guardhouse
Oh,
issues.
right. Thank you.
You weren't here the first half. There's a lot of issues at the guardhouse, maintenance wise. Yeah.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Is there anyone who thinks they might not be able to make it next? Okay.
Try to call in.
Okay.
If I can get
And
This is the 24th.
24th.
the 24th of October.
Mm.
If between now and then you find out you can't, and Ed did this, so that was very helpful, please let Georgia know as
Yes.
soon as you know.
Yes, she gives me the attendance sheet and she'll make note absent, not attending. So that helps staff.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
If we know in advance for next year's schedule, should we?
It's already,
let her know now? Like I know I will be here in November and December probably, or do I just wait till,
Do it one at a time, maybe?
yeah, just do it one at a time.
okay.
Okay.
And
Anything
we
else?
still have that one, anybody know anybody else to encourage to join the
Oh,
committee?
yeah.
We still have an open position.
Good point.
So I just want to recap my follow-up, which I will try to send back as soon as I get to the office, is the FPL plans, CC's comments that were received this
And
morning.
I'm gonna send you.
Okay, yep, perfect. And then I'll do a quick steps for SharePoint. In the meantime, I will find out why we had 4 staff pressure washing 1 area.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn? I make a motion to adjourn this meeting. This is
I
Jennifer.
second.
All in favor?
All right, thank you.
Oh,